Have you ever stopped and actually asked yourself, why do I still feel broke, even though I make more money than before? Think about it. Most Americans today earn more than their parents did at the same age. We live in the richest country in human history. There is more income opportunity, remote work, freelance, corporate jobs, side hustles than ever before. And yet, 63% of Americans say they live paycheck to paycheck. Even among people earning over $100,000 per year, 44% still live paycheck to paycheck. CNBC Lending Club 2024. So, how is it possible? How is it possible that income went up? Opportunities went up. Technology made life easier, yet stress, debt, and financial anxiety also went up. There is a reason. And today, I'm going to show you, in a way you will never unsee, why most people in America stay broke, even when they make more money. My name is Arun, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, specifically why Americans struggle with it. If you've ever felt stressed about bills, if you've ever gotten a raise and felt nothing changed, if you've ever looked at your paycheck and thought, this can't be all there is, then this video is for you. I'm not here to motivate you. I'm not here to shame you. I'm here to help you see clearly, because clarity is the first step of financial transformation. Let's start with the biggest lie Americans have been sold since childhood, a lie that shapes almost every financial decision people make. A lie so invisible that most people never question it. The lie is this: if I make more money, life will get better. That sentence has trapped millions of people. It sounds logical. It feels intuitive. It should be true. But in the real world, it rarely is, because income in America is not the same thing as wealth. Income is momentum. Wealth is direction. Income is money entering your world. Wealth is money staying, multiplying, and freeing you. But the average American doesn't see that difference, because our system trains us to admire earning, not keeping. We clap loudest for the person who makes six figures, even if that person has $0 in savings and $12,000 on a credit card. We whisper about the person who earns $55,000, even if they have no debt, a growing investment account, and a peaceful life. That is the money illusion. People think earning equals winning, but earning is meaningless without retention. Let me make it even clearer. Picture two people. Person A earns $100,000. They live in a trendy city. They spend $3,000 on rent. They drive a finance car. They love brunch, Uber Eats, gym upgrades, subscription bundles, and weekend escapes. They're exhausted. They're anxious. They're one emergency away from disaster. Person B earns $55,000. They house hack a small apartment. They drive a used Honda. They automate investments. They cook at home. They sleep peacefully. And when emergencies come, they are ready. Who is wealthier? Most Americans, conditioned by social comparison, instinctively point to person A. But wealth is not what's seen. Wealth is what remains after life happens. What you keep is the real scoreboard. This is why so many Americans feel financially stuck despite making more money than their parents ever did. The economy is richer, salaries are higher, technology offers more opportunity, and yet stress, anxiety, debt, and financial fragility have also risen, because America doesn't reward slow, boring, consistent, patient compounding. America rewards flash, titles, numbers, ego, consumption. We are living in a culture where someone driving a Tesla on payments is admired more than a debt-free person who quietly invests, where someone with a designer wardrobe and credit card debt is celebrated more than a guy in a Target hoodie with $50,000 in index funds. The money illusion convinces you that the number on your pay stub defines your success, even if you are drowning inside. When I say this, I don't say it to shame. I say it because clarity is the first step to freedom. You cannot escape a lie until you see it. So, if you've ever thought, I should be richer by now, where did all my money go? I earn more, but I don't feel richer. Just know you're not alone. You're just trapped inside the money illusion, like most of America. And today, we're breaking out. Most Americans are losing money not because of low income, but because they never measure anything. Americans avoid financial math the way children avoid vegetables because it doesn't feel good. Math forces you to face the truth. Math makes you accountable. Math exposes the gap between what you think your life costs and what it actually costs. Let me show you what I mean. Most people think in gross numbers. They say, I make $65,000 a year. My new job pays $30 an hour. I'm about to get a $20,000 raise. But those numbers are illusions because they ignore federal tax, state tax, Social Security, Medicare, health insurance deductions, 401k or retirement deductions, inflation, lifestyle upgrades, emotional purchases. Let's take a realistic example. Someone goes from $42,000 to $63,000. That's a $21,000 raise. Their brain celebrates. They start planning lifestyle upgrades. They assume life will finally feel different. But let's strip that illusion bare. $63,000 in the US becomes approximately $49,000 after taxes. That's already $14,000 gone before life even starts. Now, because income increased, lifestyle follows. Most Americans don't ask, do I need to upgrade? Instead, they think, I deserve to. So, what happens? Expense change. Extra cost per year. Rent upgrade, $350 per month. $4,200 car payment upgrade, $310 per month. $3,720. Eating out increase, $190 per month. $2,280. Clothes, grooming increase, $1,200. Streaming bundles and subs, $480. Treat myself spending, $1,440. Suddenly, $21,000 extra income, $13,320 lifestyle creep. Combine that with tax loss or $14,000 and the math becomes plus $21,000 income, $14,000 taxes, $13,320 lifestyle creep, minus $6,320 net change, meaning a 50% raise mathematically made them poorer. Read that again. A raise, the thing Americans chase, can make you financially worse, but no one calculates that because the brain prefers fantasy math. Fantasy math sounds like it's just $5 a day. It's only $100 a month. Everyone else has it. It won't make a difference. I'll save later. Fantasy math is how America stays broke. Real math, the kind wealthy people use, is brutal, honest, unemotional. It asks different questions, not can I afford this monthly? Instead, will this cost steal my future freedom? Not do I earn enough to buy this? Instead, how much will this delay wealth? Wealth math forces responsibility. Wealth math demands clarity. Wealth math requires you to look your spending dead in the eyes and choose purpose over impulse. Americans don't hate budgeting. They hate truth because the truth is hard. Most people believe they need more income, but what they actually need is to stop letting income escape. Until you measure, you lose it by default. Lifestyle creep is one of the most dangerous forces in American financial life. And it almost never gets talked about. It is invisible. It is emotional. And it destroys wealth not through one big decision, but through 1,000 tiny upgrades no one tracks. Most people think financial destruction happens dramatically. A job loss, a hospital bill, a recession. But for the majority of Americans, wealth doesn't die suddenly. It bleeds out slowly through habits that feel harmless. Lifestyle creep begins with a celebration. You get a raise, you feel proud, you feel seen, you feel like life owes you something back. Your brain whispers, I worked hard, I deserve this. That one sentence, I deserve it, is the most expensive sentence in the American financial vocabulary. Because when income rises, your identity rises with it. Your lifestyle tries to match your new status. Here's how it happens: you upgrade one thing, then two, then 10. First, it's a better phone, then a more expensive apartment, then a car instead of public transportation, then daily Starbucks because convenience matters, then eating out because cooking is exhausting, then gym memberships, subscriptions, nails, haircuts, skincare, tech, travel, Amazon boxes on the porch. Every one of those purchases feels justified. Every swipe feels small. Nothing feels like a mistake because your brain doesn't calculate, it rationalizes. Your brain says, everyone else my age is doing it. It's normal. It's only $40. It won't matter in the long run. But here's the math: $40 times 30 times a month equals $1,200. $1,200 times 12 months equals $14,400 a year. A year of small treats is the down payment on a house. It is a used car paid in full. It is half of someone's Roth IRA funded. Lifestyle creep is dangerous because it attaches itself to your identity. Once you become a brunch person, a gym lifestyle person, a DoorDash person, a travel couple, a skincare person, those identities become financial obligations. If you stop them, you feel like you're losing yourself. It doesn't feel like saving. It feels like suffering. Another trap: lifestyle creep is sticky. It goes up and refuses to come back down.
Once you move from a $950 per month apartment to $1,600 per month, going back feels like failure, even if it would save your life. Once you start driving a $580 per month financed car, selling it to take a $4,000 used Honda feels humiliating, even if it would save you $7,000 a year. Lifestyle creep forces you into a financial treadmill, where you must work constantly just to maintain your identity. This is how America silently traps people, not through poverty, but through comfortable spending that feels normal. The truth is, becoming wealthy is less about how much you earn. It's about whether or not you allow lifestyle to expand along with income. Until you control creep, you will never control wealth. Let's talk about why Americans spend, really spend. People think money decisions are logical, based on math, budgets, and rational thought. But the truth is, almost no financial decisions are logical. They are emotional, chemical, psychological. America is a stress economy. People work long hours, sit in traffic, deal with emails at midnight, answer Slack messages even on weekends. Corporate culture demands productivity without pause. The average American worker is exhausted, not just physically, but emotionally. Stress is the most expensive condition in the United States, because stressed people spend. Here is the subconscious cycle most Americans live inside: work, stress, reward, guilt, repeat. Work drains energy, stress builds. The brain demands emotional relief. Spending becomes the fastest way to feel better. But purchases create guilt, and guilt creates more stress. That loop, psychologists call it reward compensation behavior. Marketers call it growth strategy. I call it why America stays broke. Take DoorDash. DoorDash is not food. It is emotional anesthesia. It is a medal for surviving another day. Amazon? It is not shopping. It is dopamine on demand. Click, relief. Package arrives, validation. Starbucks? Not coffee. It is identity, belonging, and permission to continue. Why does this matter? Because when spending becomes emotional, money becomes medicine, and no one heals by medicating forever. Let's go deeper. In the brain, dopamine drives anticipation, not the reward itself. Meaning, your brain gets pleasure before the purchase, in the moment of deciding to spend. That means Americans don't overspend because they're weak. They overspend because their biology is being hijacked. Corporations spend billions studying human behavior, designing notifications, ads, packaging, and timing to catch you when you're tired, lonely, overwhelmed, or insecure. Ads don't target wealth. Ads target emotional vulnerability. Ever notice how you buy most things? At night, after work, when tired, when scrolling, when comparing your life to others, when anxious, when lonely? That timing is not an accident. It is engineered. Social media amplifies the system. You don't see people struggle. You see their highlight reel. Vacations, engagements, cars, restaurants, parties, new homes, unboxing videos, lifestyle. Your nervous system interprets that as, I am behind. And when you feel behind, your brain says, spend so you feel caught up, even if it's fake. That is the American reward system. Spending is not buying. Spending equals emotional self-regulation. The more stressful your life is, the more expensive your life becomes. This is why people earning $25,000 per year and people earning $200,000 per year can both end the year broke. Stress doesn't care about income. Stress cares about relief. If Americans don't break this cycle, no amount of money will ever be enough. Most Americans believe their job gives them money. Almost no one realizes their job also takes money. This invisible financial drain is what I call the hidden work tax. It's real, it's silent, and it hits every working American, regardless of salary. Let's break it down. When you accept a job, you don't just sign up for hours. You sign up for a lifestyle cost. Your job silently charges you in ways you never count. 1. The commute tax. Gas, parking, car wear and tear, maintenance, high-mileage insurance. AAA research shows the average U.S. worker who commutes spends $5,000 to $7,000 per year just to get to work. People think remote workers got lucky. No, remote workers got a raise by removing this tax. 2. The exhaustion tax. Work drains energy, and low energy triggers spending. Ask yourself, how many times have you said, I'm too tired to cook, let's just order food? DoorDash, Uber Eats, Chipotle, convenience spending is a tax on your exhaustion. Studies show tired people overspend 37% more in the evenings, not because they're careless, because decision fatigue destroys willpower. 3. The presentation tax. A job requires you to look employable. Clothes, haircuts, makeup, shoes, bags, laptop, accessories, dry cleaning. Even conservatively, most employees lose $1,000 to $3,000 a year just to look professional. 4. The childcare tax. For working parents, a job is often a childcare bill disguised as income. National average daycare cost, $10,000 per year per child. That means a $45,000 salary can become $35,000 instantly, before tax, just because you have a kid. 5. The happiness tax. This one's hardest to see. Work stress, anxiety, emotional purchases. People coping with jobs they hate buy more feel-better items, vacation escapes, brunch, retail therapy, alcohol, gadgets, subscriptions. We don't recognize it, but a job that makes you miserable is also the most expensive job you can have. What this means in real numbers. Let's use a U.S. worker making $60,000 per year. After federal state tax, take-home might be $45,000. Now subtract hidden work taxes, work-related cost, annual cost, commute, gas, parking, $5,500. Eating out, due to exhaustion, $2,400. Presentation, clothes, hair, etc., $1,200. Childcare, one child, $10,000. Emotional spending, $2,000. $45,000 to $21,100 equals $23,900 real-life money. Someone who thought they make $60,000 is actually living on $23,900. That's an effective hourly wage of approximately $11.50, not $30 per hour. I want you to sit with this for a second. Most Americans are not underpaid. They are undercalculating. They don't understand how much life costs because they never measured it. Their job is quietly billing them, and they never notice the invoice. The takeaway: your job is both an income source and a financial liability. If you don't identify and eliminate the hidden taxes around work, your income will never turn into wealth. Because wealth isn't about what you earn, it's about what you keep after life gets finished billing you. If money were purely logical, America would be rich. We live in a nation with more access to information, apps, tools, and knowledge than at any point in history, and yet most people are still broke. Why? Because the brain, not the bank account, is the real enemy. Human brains were designed for survival, not wealth building. We are wired to chase comfort, avoid pain, seek instant reward, and ignore the future. Those instincts kept our ancestors alive, but in modern America, they destroy personal finances. Let me break down the 3 biggest mental glitches that make Americans poor. 1. Present bias, the now problem. Your brain gives 10 times more emotional weight to today than to 30 years from now. That's why $8 Starbucks feels worth it, but $8 invested feels pointless. 30 minutes of Amazon scrolling feels necessary, but 30 minutes of planning money feels painful. Your brain rewards immediate relief, not delayed power. When you say, "I'll start saving later," your brain is lying to you. It never plans to save. It only plans to feel better now. 2. Emotional decision-making. Money is not math. Money is emotion. Stress, spending. Boredom, spending. Loneliness, spending. Comparison, spending. When you're tired, overwhelmed, or insecure, your brain tells you to buy something to feel in control. That's not stupidity. That's survival instinct, misfiring in the modern world. Corporations know this. They spend billions designing apps, ads, and notifications that activate emotion, not logic. People say, "I want to save," but their emotions say, "I want to feel good, right now." Emotion wins, wallet loses.
If you walk through any American city, you'll see something strange. People look wealthy. Designer clothes, AirPods, new cars, Starbucks in hand, iPhone upgrade every year, vacation pictures on Instagram, smiles, confidence, lifestyle. On the outside, America looks rich. But peel back the surface, and the truth is brutal. Most Americans are broke. Not because they lack income, but because they lack margin. Margin equals the space between what you earn and what you spend. Margin equals the gap where wealth is built. Margin equals freedom. And most Americans have no margin at all. Here are the facts. 64% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, including 46% of people making over $100,000 a year. 61% of Americans cannot afford a $1,000 emergency. Average credit card debt per household, $7,951. 82% of Americans have $0 invested for retirement outside a 401k. That means most people are one bad month away from panic, desperation, borrowing, or collapse. Let me tell you the 3 real reasons why. 1. Americans confuse comfort with progress. Modern life is engineered to feel like success, even when it isn't. DoorDash equals wealth signal. Gym membership equals self-care. New car equals I've made it. Vacations equals I deserve this. But none of these things create a future. America convinces you that feeling successful is more important than becoming successful. And when comfort feels like progress, progress never actually happens. 2. Americans don't track money. Ask the average person, how much did you spend last month? They won't know. They'll guess. Wrong. Money you don't measure disappears. Untracked spending is like a hole in a bucket. You keep pouring water in, but nothing fills. Wealth requires awareness, and most people don't want awareness because awareness is uncomfortable. 3. Americans have emotional money. Most spending decisions in this country begin with a feeling. I'm tired. I'm stressed. I'm bored. I'm lonely. I feel behind. I want to look successful. Money responds to emotion, not math. If you want proof, look at when Americans spend the most. Evenings, weekends, paydays, after arguments, in boredom, during scrolling, after comparing their life to someone else's. That's not coincidence. That is emotional coping, and emotional spending always beats income. The worst part, people think they're alone. Most people silently suffer. They believe they're the only one who feels behind, can't save, doesn't understand investing, feels anxious every time bills arrive, panics before payday, is embarrassed by their financial life. But the truth, almost everyone is experiencing the same problem, but nobody talks about it. We live in a culture where it is normal to say, how much did you make? But embarrassing to say, how much did you keep? America stays broke because America is ashamed of the truth. The turning point. You cannot change what you will not confront. The moment you stop pretending and start looking your numbers in the face, that is the moment your financial life begins. Most people never reach that moment. That is why they stay broke. Money isn't just math. Money is identity. And identity is one of the most expensive things in America. People don't buy things because they need them. People buy things because of who they believe they are. Let me show you how identity steals wealth. In the US, people often attach labels to themselves like, I'm a coffee person, I'm a gym lifestyle person, I'm a traveler, I'm a foodie, I'm a technology guy, I'm a luxury girl. And once a label forms, it becomes a spending rule. If you say you're a gym lifestyle person, you feel obligated to buy supplements, branded clothing, $90 leggings, special shoes, fancy bottles, memberships, apps. If you say you're a traveler, you feel pressure to travel even when you can't afford it. Not traveling feels like losing your identity. Identity spending is powerful because the pain of not buying is emotional. It feels like rejection of yourself. This is how the trap forms. Identity, obligation, expense, cycle, debt, stress, escape, more identity spending. Let's go deeper. Social media has amplified identity pressure more than any generation before us. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube all create comparison identity. You don't compare your life to reality, you compare it to someone's curated highlight reel. You see a couple in Bali, you think, we should travel more. Swipe. Someone showing gym bags and protein. I should invest in myself. Swipe. New iPhone unboxing. My phone is embarrassing now. Swipe. Starbucks influencer aesthetic. I need that lifestyle. Suddenly, you're not spending based on needs or even wants, but based on who you think you're supposed to be. Identity becomes the most expensive bill. Here's something most Americans never realize. Poor people and rich people have different identities. Poor identity says, I buy things to feel like someone. Wealth identity says, I build things to become someone. Most Americans get trapped between two identities. One, the self they present online, wealthy looking, lifestyle, aesthetic. Two, the self that exists in private, stressed, anxious, paycheck to paycheck. The distance between these two identities is where financial suffering lives. Because when the outside image costs more than the inside reality can sustain, you drown in the gap. Ask yourself, who are you trying to impress? Who are you competing with? Who is judging you? Most people discover the answer is no one. The pressure was imagined, created by ego, fueled by comparison, exploited by marketing. And here's the most dangerous part. Once you attach identity to a spending category, you stop questioning it. You don't ask, should I? You only say, this is who I am. Identity makes overspending feel honest. That's why you must rewrite your identity, not around consumption, but around creation. Your new identity must say, I'm someone who keeps money. I'm someone who builds wealth. I'm someone who invests. I'm someone who chooses freedom. Because until your identity changes, your financial life never will. If you want to change your financial life, you must be willing to hear and accept a truth almost no one will ever say out loud. Most people are broke because they choose to be. I know, that sounds harsh. People will argue, no, I'm broke because life is expensive. I'm broke because of bills. I'm broke because rent is too high. I'm broke because I don't earn enough. And yes, life is unfair. The system is flawed. The economy is brutal. Wages haven't kept up with inflation. Housing is expensive. Medical bills are insane. But even inside that reality, some people still escape and some don't. Why? Because most Americans do not decide to change. They hope to change. They wish to change. They wait to change. Hope costs nothing and changes nothing. People don't stay broke because they lack opportunity. They stay broke because they refuse to confront themselves. Here is the truth nobody wants to admit. People want wealth without sacrifice. They want freedom without discipline. They want success without boredom. They want change without discomfort. They want a different future, but want to feel comfortable right now. And until that flips, nothing flips. The truth about being busy. People say, I'm too busy to budget. I'm too stressed to invest. I'll start later. But notice something. They're never too busy to scroll. Never too tired to binge Netflix. Never too stressed to order DoorDash. Never too overwhelmed to shop. People don't lack time. People lack priority. The comfort addiction. Most Americans are not addicted to spending. They are addicted to avoiding discomfort. It is uncomfortable to look at your bank account, face your debt, say, I can't afford that, delay gratification, stay home when others go out, wear cheaper clothes, drive an older car, cook instead of order, say no, feel behind. So instead, people buy comfort. Comfort today, debt tomorrow. The point that changes everything. You cannot build wealth until you are willing to feel uncomfortable on purpose. That might mean saying no when emotions say yes, looking poor before you become rich, letting people think you're boring, not posting vacations for 3 years, being disciplined when no one is clapping. Wealth is not glamorous in the beginning. It is invisible. It is quiet. It is lonely. Which is why most people would rather look wealthy than become wealthy. The one sentence that frees you. Here is the sentence most people never say, because once you say it, you lose your excuses. My financial life is my responsibility. No one is coming to save me. Not a raise, not a new president, not a stimulus check, not luck, not manifestation, not someday. When the truth becomes yours, power becomes yours. Because the moment you stop blaming the world, you start building your world. If becoming wealthy feels confusing, overwhelming, and mysterious, that's not an accident. The financial world profits when the average person feels lost. Confusion makes you obedient. Confusion makes you passive. Confusion keeps you spending instead of building. But wealth itself is actually simple. So simple that it can fit into one sentence, the sentence that changed my life. Income minus lifestyle minus leakage equals capital times time equals wealth. Let's break that down slowly, because this equation is the foundation of everything. 1. Income, how much you bring in. This is your fuel source, but most Americans treat income like the finish line. They believe earning more fixes their problems. But income is only step 1, and it is worthless unless the next steps happen. 2. Lifestyle, how big your life feels. Lifestyle is the space you allow yourself to live in. Housing, food, cars, vacations, clothes, convenience. This is where most money dies. Here is the rule wealthy people live by. Never let lifestyle rise at the same speed as income. A poor mindset says, I earned more, so I will spend more. A wealthy mindset says, I earned more, so I will keep more. 3. Leakage, where money escapes unnoticed. Leakage is the silent killer in modern America. It is $9 subscription fees, $2 service charges, $14 lunches, $6 convenience fees, $22 delivery, just $5 purchases. Leakage feels like nothing, but in math, it is everything. Average American leakage is $200 to $500 per month, which over 30 years is $200,000 to $500,000 of lost wealth. Most people lose wealth not by bad decisions, but by unseen micro-decisions. 4. Capital, what's left after life gets paid. Capital is the single most important number in wealth, because capital is the money that actually has a future. You can make $200,000 a year, and if you have zero capital, you are not wealthier than someone who earns $55,000 and keeps $10,000. Wealth is not income. Wealth is surplus. Wealth is space. Wealth is margin. 5. Time, the multiplier. Time is the silent partner that either builds your empire or buries your opportunity. $300 per month invested at 7% becomes $340,000 in 30 years. $600 per month becomes $680,000. $1,000 per month becomes $1.2 million. Time multiplies what exists, but it cannot multiply what never stayed. The wealth formula in real life. Most Americans do this backwards. Income up, lifestyle up, leakage up, capital down, time times nothing equals nothing. Wealthy people do this. Income up, lifestyle equals same, leakage down, capital up, time times capital equals freedom. Why most people never apply this? Because this formula demands restraint. It demands measuring. It demands seeing what is hard to look at. This formula requires you to say no when emotions say yes, look less wealthy while becoming wealthy, delay validation for years, trust boring systems over exciting impulses. That's why almost no one follows it. The takeaway: you don't need financial genius. You don't need luck. You don't need a high salary. You need space between income and spending, a system that keeps money, and time to multiply it. The wealth formula is simple. The discipline is not. But if you follow it, time will eventually work for you instead of against you. You now understand why most people stay broke. But knowledge without a blueprint changes nothing. If the system is broken, if psychology is against us, if lifestyle creep is automatic, then the question becomes, how do you actually escape? Not with hope, not with inspiration, not with motivation that dies tomorrow. Escape requires a system, so your money succeeds even on the days you fail. Here is that system, the one that separates people who get rich slowly from people who stay broke forever. Step 1. Get your numbers. Face the truth. You cannot fix what you refuse to see. Open your bank statement. Open your credit card history. Look at the last 90 days. Write down how much came in, how much went out, where it went, what was emotional, what was automatic, what added nothing to your life. This step alone separates you from 90% of America because most people would rather feel ashamed than get free. Step 2. Build a lifestyle ceiling. Decide your lifestyle level on purpose and freeze it. Example: If you make $62,000, pretend you still make $48,000. Let the difference become wealth. Lifestyle ceilings do three things. 1. Create margin. 2. Stop creep. 3. Turn raises into capital. Most people refuse to cap lifestyle because they want comfort, but comfort today is often debt tomorrow. Step 3. Automate your money. Your brain can't be trusted, so remove it from the equation. Set autopay plus auto save plus auto invest. Direct deposit 10 to 20% straight to investments. Automatic recurring savings transfer. Bill autopay to avoid fees. Emergency fund automation. No touch brokerage deposits weekly. Automation protects you on your weak days, not your strong days. Step 4. Kill leakage. Cancel subscriptions you forgot you even pay for. Uninstall apps that convince you to spend. Put friction between you and buying. Examples: remove cards from Apple Pay. Delete Amazon saved cards. 24-hour rule before non-essential purchases. Keep only one credit card. Wealth is often created, not by earning more, but by letting less escape. Step 5. Pick one compounding engine. Most Americans start 5 things and master nothing. That is why they stay stuck. Choose one long-term wealth lane. Index funds, real estate, a business, high-income skill turned cash machine. Then go deep. Your life changes faster when your energy concentrates. Step 6. Protect your future self. Your future self is counting on you, and you have already abandoned them too many times. Protect them by having a 6-month emergency fund, insuring correctly, avoiding lifestyle upgrades, saying no without guilt, saving automatically, investing even when it feels small. Every boring choice today is a silent gift to the person you will become. The exit. Freedom doesn't appear all at once. It begins quietly. The first month you have money left. The first year your investments grow. The first time an emergency doesn't ruin you. The first moment you realize you no longer fear bills. Wealth is not an event. Wealth is a direction. And today, you choose a new direction. Understood. Sending now. We've talked about math. We've talked about psychology. We've talked about systems, traps, culture, identity, and behavior. But none of it matters unless one final shift happens. Because wealth doesn't start with a budget. Wealth doesn't start with investing. Wealth doesn't even start with a plan. Wealth starts with identity. Who you believe you are determines what you are willing to do. If you think you're someone who can't save, you won't. If you think you're someone who's bad with money, your actions will always prove you right. If you think wealth is for other people, you will never reach for it. Humans don't act according to logic. We act according to identity. So here is where the real transformation begins. You must stop being the version of yourself who expects to struggle forever. You must stop being someone who is waiting for life to get easier before taking control. You must become the person who says, I build wealth, even if no one claps for me. Because wealth building is lonely at first. You will have friends who don't understand. People will ask why you're acting broke. You'll sit at home instead of going out. You'll drive the cheaper car. You'll skip the YOLO vacation. And it will feel like everyone else is living life while you are sacrificing. But listen to me. There are 2 kinds of pain in life: the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. Discipline hurts now. Regret hurts forever. Most Americans die with scattered accounts, small balances, unrealized potential, financial stress, and dreams that never had the money to live. Not because they failed, but because they never concentrated. They never chose. They never declared, this is who I am now. The final shift is this. Wealth is not something you get. Wealth is something you become. You must become someone who keeps money, invests before spending, says no when emotions say yes, chooses boredom over impulse, thinks decades, not days, prioritizes freedom over image, protects their future self, builds a life they don't need escape from. When that identity becomes yours, wealth becomes inevitable. Because once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. You can't go back to swiping mindlessly. You can't go back to pretending you don't know. You can't go back to thinking a raise will save you. You can't go back to living for other people's approval. You've crossed a line. And on this side of the line, a different you exists. A future where bills don't scare you, emergencies don't break you, work is optional, time is yours, money works for you while you sleep. That future begins the moment you decide, I am done being broke. I am someone who builds wealth, starting now.